Well,
Guess where?
well, based on my education, my sexual education, they did teach us in high school how babies are made, and I was grateful to learn how that happens. They also taught us about contraception, and they also taught us a bit about sexually transmitted disease. But they never, ever mentioned the transformational power of orgasm and how intensely satisfying the orgasmic experience can be, and how it can actually alter your states of consciousness. For example, when you stay in a high state of arousal for extended periods of time without coming, what happens at some point, you move through various states. First it's pleasure, and then it becomes extremely blissful, and then it moves into the state of sexual ecstasy. And at some point beyond that, you could experience the mystical side of sex. And that, what does that look like? Well, at some point your perceptual reality shifts, and you no longer feel that you're separate from everything else in this universe. You tend to have this experience where you feel very interconnected to the stars and the moon and the trees and the animals and your lover and yourself. You feel at one with all of existence. And that simply doesn't happen with conventional sex. Because, as we know, conventional sex, you just blow your wad out, and the energy isn't cultivated, it's lost.
And another comment or question in the chat box, we have a lot of young people in the 18 to 25 category in Blog TV. What would you say to them about sex and their options?
Well, I would definitely turn them on to our course material. I would definitely turn them on to the Eastern philosophy from which Tantra has emerged. Tantra has always been the interface between sex and spirit. In our culture, there's no link connecting sex and spirit. But the Eastern philosophy connects sex and spirit in a way that our culture doesn't. So I would turn them on. I would teach them the energy centers in the body, how to cultivate energy, how to have multiple how to have multiple full body orgasms, so that they can actually achieve that state of mind where their perceptual reality expands to include this sense of oneness and deep fulfillment that the transformational power of orgasm provides us.
You coined a new term, fullgasms. I like that. Yeah, most of us have just scratched the surface of how much pleasure we can receive when we learn to consciously channel sexual energy and circulate sexual attention all over the body. We can expand our pleasure capacity. So if that's not enough incentive to learn some new techniques, guys, I'm not sure what is. So we're now talking about the second destructive sexual myth, and that's that male ejaculation and orgasm are one and the same. So, Victor, what would you say about that?
Well, until now, far too many men have made the erroneous assumption, yes, that ejaculation and orgasm are one and the same. This is unfortunate, but understandable, since from our earliest sexual explorations, men have observed over and over that ejaculation and orgasm always happen together. And
another question, what does living in fear versus living in love have to do with any of this? What a great question.
Well, living in fear is no fun, and being in love is ecstatic. So, when fears come up for me, I think of them as thoughts that I don't want to identify with, and I just breathe deeply. And I had a spiritual teacher tell me that fear and breath cannot coexist. So I breathe, I expand my breathing capacity, and the fear just dissipates.
And I think a lot of our programming, certainly from the church, was designed to put us in fear of our sexuality, to fear our own sexual urge, to fear our